When we look at the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ as a whole, when it refers to his da'wah, calling people to the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he strove to make the world that he lived in a better place. He had the idea to make the world a better place with Islam, because of Islam, because of his presence, because of the presence of his companions, because of the presence of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to make the world a better place. And this was an idea, a concern, an attitude that he had before prophethood. Before prophethood, our Prophet ﷺ cared about the condition of the poor. Yes or no? He strove for it, he fought for it. Before prophethood, our Prophet stood for the oppressed. Yes or no? Before prophethood, he sought reconciliation amongst the tribes. Before prophethood, he's tried to help his people in any way that he could find to do so. The entire reason he used to retire to Ghar al-Hira every year was for what reason? To reflect and think and ponder and try to see what he could come up with, that what can I do to help my own people? As you know, Allah Jalla wa Ala says, whoever wills to walk upright, we guide them to our ways. So our Prophet ﷺ was like this before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to him, اقرأ بسم ربك الذي خلق. He was known as truthful before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala certified him as truthful. He was known as trustworthy before Allah Jalla wa Ala certified him as an khulqin azim, upright character. Even when he first began his public proclamation of da'wah and he stood on a hill in Mecca, what did he begin with? Was his first call that I call you to believe in Allah alone and follow the rulings of Islam, and if not, you're going to burn in hellfire for eternity? Was that the very first thing he said? What was the first thing he said? The first thing he said was that you know me. You know who I am. You understand who I am. If I were to tell you that an army was on the other side of this mountain ready to attack you, would you believe me? He stood on his own character. He stood on his reputation amongst his people. And this gives us a deep understanding as to our place and position here in the West. Is that we need to be more than just the Muslims that people see passing by them every single day, coming and going to and from the masjid and from our places of business and our homes. We need to become a nation of the people. That we are not only here to ideologically convince people about the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the pinnacle of da'wah. That is the key point and factor. But that needs to be built upon a system that we can be trusted. That we can be looked at as upright and honest and trustworthy and upon good character. That we are here to better the society, that we care about the society that we live in, that we care about the homelessness problem that you find in London. We care about the poverty problem that you find in London and within the UK. We care about the drug addiction and the alcohol abuse, not only just when it starts to affect our community, because that's always been our stance. We've not cared about any problems of society until they start affecting the Muslim community. We would not care, say, a word about people dying every single day of drug abuse and overdose. You could walk in the streets and find people dying left, right, and center from heroin addiction every single day, and we would step over them on our way to the masjid until it affected the Muslim community. Then we would have a skin in the game, as they say. And that goes with every other societal problem. It does not become a problem that we care about or affects us until it affects our community or our family or a brother we know or a sister we know or a family that we know. And that is why we find ourselves in this condition, because we don't care. We don't care. Allah has taken the honor of this ummah because we don't care. We don't care. Because one thing I know for sure without a shadow of a doubt, you can complain about the oppression of the Muslim ummah. You can complain about the stigmatism of the Muslim ummah. You can complain about the way you are treated in the press, the way you're treated in the streets, the way you're treated in the courts. But that complaint, first and foremost, should be targeted to yourself, and it can only be complained to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because whatever condition the ummah finds itself in is a condition that Allah has set for them. Whatever condition the Muslim ummah finds, it is a condition that Allah has set for them, because we know in Surah Dawa, Allah says very famously, I will not change the condition of a people till they change what is within themselves, which leads us to know by analogy, by understanding, by default, that the condition, the present condition you find yourself in, that Allah will not change until you change, is also set by Him Jalla wa Ala.